Greenwood High School was a picture square place. Its sprawling dormitories adorned with ancient oak trees and a grand facade that exuded an air of prestige. For decades, it had been a sanctuary of learning where students from affluent families and scholarship winners mingled, forming long-lasting bonds. The first girl to vanish was Emily Thompson, a bright and vivacious girl with dreams of becoming a journalist. She was last seen chatting with friends after cheerleading practice, her laughter echoing through the empty halls. Days turned into weeks, and despite exhaustive searches and tearful pleas from her parents, Emily remained missing. The school community was shaken but hopeful that she would be found. And then it was Lily Anderson, a shy and introverted junior who loved painting and often spent her free time in the art room. She disappeared on a quiet Friday evening, her easel left abandoned with a half-finished canvas of a stormy sea. Panic set in as the pattern became clear. Something sinister was happening at Greenwood High School. Amid the growing unease, a new teacher who had joined the school, Miss Evelyn Hart, was so worried. She was so close to the children and she was pained considering the fact that she loved them dearly. Miss Evelyn Hart was a young, stylish and beautiful young lady. With her impeccable fashion sense and charismatic personality, she quickly became a favorite among the students. Miss Hart taught literature, and her classes were always filled with students eager to hear her passionate interpretation of classic novels and contemporary work alike. Miss Hart seemed to have a special connection with the students. She was approachable and understanding, offering advice and lending a sympathetic ear to their teenage woes. Many students confided in her, finding solace in her reassuring presence. But yet, beneath her warm exterior, there was something enigmatic about Miss Hart, a mystery that no one could quite put their finger on. As the disappearances continued, fear gripped Greenwood High School. Parents demanded answers, and the police presence on the school environment became a common sight. The school administration assured everyone that they were doing everything possible to ensure the safety of the students. But behind closed doors, tensions ran high and suspicions began to form. Unknown to the authorities, Miss Hart had a darker side, one that she had kept well hidden. She had an uncanny ability to identify girls who were dissatisfied with their lives, who longed for excitement and a taste of glamorous world she seemed to embody. Miss Hart began inviting these girls to exclusive parties, promising them a glimpse into a life of luxury and adventure. One of the girls drawn to Miss Hart's web was Jessica Parker, a junior with dreams of becoming a fashion designer. Jessica had always felt out of place at Greenwood High School, yearning for something more than the modern routine of school life. When Miss Hart invited her to a high society party, Jessica couldn't resist. The allure of designer dresses, flashy cars, and influential people was too tempting. Jessica's disappearance was the tipping point. Her parents were influential members of the community, and her father, a prominent lawyer, demanded immediate action. The media swarmed the school, turning the disappearances into a national story. Greenwood High School was now under a harsh spotlight, and the pressure to find the missing girls intensified. Amid the chaos, a quiet investigation was underway. Detective Sarah Collins, a seasoned investigator with a reputation for solving complex cases, was assigned to the case. She was meticulous and relentless, combing through every detail, every clue, determined to unravel the mystery that haunted Greenwood High School. Detective Collins began by interviewing the students and staff, paying particular attention to those who had been close to the missing girls. When she spoke with Miss Hart, she was struck by the teacher's charm and composure, but something about Miss Hart didn't sit right with her. There was an underlying tension in her responses, a flicker of something hidden. As Detective Collins dug deeper, she uncovered a disturbing pattern. The missing girls had all been seen with Miss Hart in the days leading up to their disappearances. They had attended parties and events where Miss Hart was present, and some had even confided in their friends about the extravagant promises she had made. The pieces of the puzzle began to fit together, and a horrifying picture emerged. With a search warrant in hand, Detective Collins and her team raided Miss Hart's apartment. Inside, they found a trove of evidence, photos of the missing girls at various parties, forged documents, and a hidden compartment filled with wads of cash. But the most damning evidence was a series of correspondence between Miss Hart and a notorious human trafficking ring operating out of the country. Miss Hart was arrested and brought in for questioning. Under intense interrogation, her facade crumbled and she confessed to her crimes. She had been luring the girls with the promises of a glamorous life, only to sell them to traffickers who smuggled them out of the country. The revelation sent shockwave through the community, and the media frenzy reached a fever pitch. Greenwood High was forever changed by the ordeal. The missing girls were eventually found and rescued, but their lives would never be the same. The school implemented new safety measures, and the administration faced harsh criticism for failing to protect the students. Parents became more vigilant, and the once tight-knit community was now fractured by distrust and fear. Detective Collins, hailed as a hero for cracking the case, continued her work, driven by the desire to bring justice to the victims of some heinous crimes. Miss Hart was tried and sentenced to a lengthy prison term, her life of deceit and betrayal laid bare for all to see. The story of Greenwood High served as a stark reminder of the dangers that lurk beneath the surface, of the predators who exploit the innocent and the vulnerable. It was a tale of darkness and redemption, of the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable evil. In the months that followed, Greenwood High slowly began to heal. Support groups and counseling services were established for the students and their family. Jessica Parker, one of the first to be rescued, channeled her trauma into art. Her designs, once inspired by the allure of a flashy life, now reflected the raw emotion of her experience. She became an advocate for victims of human trafficking, using her voice and talent to raise awareness and support those in need. At the end, Detective Sarah Collins stood at the edge of the Greenwood High School, watching as the students laughed and chatted, their faces filled with hope and promises. She felt a sense of satisfaction, knowing that her work had made a difference, that the darkness had been driven away. But she also knew that the battle was far from over. There were other predators out there, and innocent lives to be rescued. As she walked away, she made a silent vow to continue her fight, to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. The shadow may always be there lurking at the edges, but as long as there were people willing to stand against them, there was hope. And that, she knew, was worth everything.